Chapter 21 is on the immune system, and we're going to concentrate on innate and adaptive body defenses. This is a good summary of the entire chapter. We have innate defenses, which are defenses that we are born with. Nonspecific, meaning these innate defenses will not attack specific microorganisms. They're just there in general to attack anything invading. We also have adaptive defenses, which are defenses that we are not born with, but develop over time through experience. So our innate defenses, we're born with a first line of defense, which are surface barriers, which we'll be going over quickly actually. And if that line of defense is breached, then we have a second line of defense underlying it, which are internal defenses, all listed here, which we'll be going over individually. We also have a third line of defense, which is developed over time because it's adaptive. We call that specific immunity, and that is accomplished through our B lymphocytes, through humoral immunity, which is a large part of this chapter, and through our T lymphocytes, which is cellular immunity, which will end the chapter. So part one of our innate defenses has to do with the first line of defense, which are surface barriers. And this is the only slide on our first line of defense because the table from your textbook here summarizes it perfectly for us. And I'll go over it quickly here. Our intact skin or epidermis provides a first line of defense just because of it's a barrier. Think of that chapter in A&P 1 in the integumentary system, the stratified squamous epithelial tissue, these cells that are packed together, they keep dividing, pushing cells towards the surface. That's a very difficult barrier for microorganisms to get through. Plus, sebaceous glands, sweat glands, secrete onto the skin, making the surface acidic, which inhibits bacterial growth. And keratin, that protein that's prevalent in the skin, also provides resistance to bacteria as well. Now, another port of entry besides the skin are tracts that are lined with mucous membranes. And mucous membranes line tracts that are open with the outside of the body, like the respiratory system, digestive tract, urinary tract, reproductive tracts. These are all tracts that are opened to the outside. So there's another port of entry for microorganisms. So we have all of these barriers, which will provide a first line of defense through the mucous membrane route. For example, mucus, which traps microorganisms. Nasal hair traps them in the nasal passages. Cilia will sweep debris from the lower respiratory passages back up to the nasal cavity. Gastric juice is acid in the stomach, which destroys pathogens. The acid mantle, it's referred to as, just like on the skin, in the vaginal tract as well, inhibiting growth of microorganisms. Lacrimal secretions, which are tears and saliva, cleanse the eyes. Oral cavity as well, destroy microorganisms. And urine, as you can read here, inhibits bacterial growth in the urinary tract. So all of these first lines of defense, whether it's on the skin or in our mucous membranes, are very non-specific. It doesn't matter what's trying to enter our tissue, it's there regardless to protect us.